it really depends on who they want to be their win condition. And I feel like for Rune Eaters, both Naive and Haze can fulfill that role. But they just straight up go for the Kunkka again. Interesting. They didn't win last game, but I feel like it was quite effective still. And if they just don't mess up like they did last game, I feel like they could just play a similar style of Dota and get away with it. Okay, there we have the wacky hero, I guess.
Not quite what I would have taken a guess at, but you have a lot of setup that Ice Blast is not going to be overly difficult to land if you're the team with the initiation. And the Ancient Apparition pick does maybe sort of dissuade one move from taking some of those popular cores as well, just because you're going to be dealing with that Ice Blast debuff. So, of course, the
Mm-hmm.
downside of that is any hero on the one move side, if they touch the AA, it's kind of dead.
Yeah. Yeah, that is definitely a big downside. But then just don't get touched.
Maintain your separation. Don't let something like a Spectre through, and you're probably going to be okay on that front. But to that point, okay, question gets answered for me. I was about to ask, do
Nice.
they do it again? And
Well done,
oh,
Kmart.
every once in a while, able to get one in there. But God, life is going to suck for that AA now. That's not a fun play at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder if this game they're gonna do a better job of shutting down the Spectre in lane. Because I was surprised last game by just how well Knight did in lane against Grimstroke Sand King of all lanes. It's really impressive.
And now this is more and more like Sand King Shadow Shaman, which is another duo that can get aggressive, but like you said, we need to see them actually get aggressive. If they don't do so, then Smiling Knight's just going to sort of take off, and maybe a little bit of that lack of aggression came from that fight that we saw in the river around the Rune, where your Sand King had to skill up Burrow, was missing like half of his health when he comes to the lane, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there's
that
a
definitely doesn't help.
sort of domino effect coming into play there, where that small setback gave the Spectre enough to sort of get things going. So, Rune Eaters try to avoid losing 90% of your Sand King's health before the creep waves meet. That will certainly be useful for them, but in the meantime, final phase of bans here, Rune Eaters are showing some respect to the potential of the Mellow Jewel mid Mars again as they ban away the Beastmaster, but they will split the bans, taking out the Queen.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm curious if it's gonna be a Melajul Mice again. I feel like last game it was actually quite underwhelming for the most part. But they did win. So it's a toss-up, really. Um, I
And
guess mid Mice looks okay.
it
They could just... Nah, I was gonna say they could go for the DP again, but against Ancient Apparition you probably don't want to do that. Although I can definitely still see it work, because they do still have tanky heroes on Rune Eaters, and they don't have, like... they have a decent amount of lockdown, but I feel like a DP could still work, because you can just buy a blink and blink in and silence people. We'll see. I
Chels.
don't expect to see it, I just think it could work.
One move with those final bans. Those are some interesting ones. Viper and Necro, pair of heroes that have been both sort of becoming a little bit more popular. The Viper in particular, against someone like the Spectre, just kind of ruins your day. So some maybe more defensively oriented bans there on the back end, but now Rune Eaters. No, what do you think? Is this going to be the Kunkka 1 for them again, or do they potentially shift it into
Yeah, I
Haze's
think so.
hands? Okay.
That's not a bad pick, but it is a bad pick.
Nice. Oh, man. But Rune Eaters, there's a lot of lockdown. Maybe not the most durability in the world, but same thing kind of happened to them last game, and it wasn't a massive concern. And now if you're one move, you've got to deal with the Bat Rider pretty much at all times. That's not a bad choice, though. On the Ember Spirit, a hero that's just going to be hard for them to sort of lock down, even with all of the crowd control that they have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, Ancient Apparition really isn't gonna have fun this game. I know they picked it partially as a block pick and it's pretty decent against Ench, but I have my doubts.
Yeah, this is one of those ones, win or lose, Kaori's probably going to be pushing up on sort of double-digit deaths just because Ancient Apparition going into this lineup. But if Rune Eaters can win it, then who cares, right? How many deaths Kaori has, as long as you sort of get that win. But if he is getting picked off that frequently, it might be harder for them to control these team fights.
Yep. It is interesting to note this game that the Shadow Shaman is going to be position 4. In the past 2 games we saw him as a position 5, and it's going to be interesting to see how his impact is going to differ in his playstyle too. Because last few games he was just kind of like a blink into a hex, and that was kind of his purpose in life. We'll see if it's going to be any different this game, or if it's just going to come out quicker.
Yeah, Arrow might just play the exact same way, but with a faster progression, which... So even if that's the case, you're still going to be happy with that on the Rune Eater's side, because you saw what the Shadow Shaman can do when it's actually allowed to... well, to live for more than 5 seconds in a fight, so... keep an eye on his
Let's
farm.
not get ahead of ourselves. More than 5 seconds for a Shadow
Baby
Shaman?
steps.
Come on. I'll take 4 seconds.
Okay, okay. Set the over-under here for the betting folks, but... smoke play out from Rune Eaters, drop down the early ward, and... I believe Melodrule was in position to spot that, so they're able to just sort of sneak the Obs ward in, and... Arrow... gonna try to be a little sneaky here. This is a big one. If someone tries to come down from the ramp to contest the rune, have a potential trap set for them, but... well, not sure if one move are going to sort of fall into that trap in the first place. They've got their own rune to take, and no one's really in position to sort of walk that far forward, as Kaori was trying to test out if there was vision there. There wasn't when he initially walked up, and then Ob's ward gets dropped and he takes a couple tower shots. So they know where it is. They're pinging it out perfectly, but...
He has balls
has
of
a
ice,
sentry.
though. Walking into tower range against the Mirana. I've seen that go wrong very often. Arrow.
Ooh. A little risky.
A bit spooky.
Pantomim's coming over here, too. There's the slow into the Arrow. Ugh. Arrow. To get himself picked off there, and... yeah, I don't know about that one. Walking up that ramp, there's a very high probability that there are heroes just sitting there waiting for you, so... first blood to one move to start things off.
Yeah, and 3 bounties, too.
I love winning.
Or, not a massive edge, but... the best gold you can possibly find is the gold you steal from your opponents. So that's just always kind of the way it goes. And now Arrow...
so we're gonna have to keep an eye on the mid lane. I'll make sure to call it out once Melajul gets like a ton of napalm stacks, so you can look at the other lanes.
already got a lot of stacks on him now. But yeah, up in that top lane, I do want to point out for this duo, they get to sort of skill things up the way that they want to compared to last time where they sort of had to go for the emergency play. So Cloud's got the Caustic, and you have Aether Shock up on your Shadow Shaman. So now they're not going to be as passive, I feel, as they were the first time around, just because I have the right spells for this play.
Quite surprised they didn't manage to block the big camp, because it's such a pain dealing with an Ench who like constantly gets hellbears and stuff.
Yeah, Pantomime has a lot of potential here to be disruptive, and even if you can't find any kills, you just got to do basically what you did the last game. Create some space for Knight and just kind of move on from there. So, see what Pantomime can do, and we'll see how Cloud and Arrow respond, because, as we mentioned, last time the Spectre kind of won that lane when we weren't expecting her to, so might need a bit more pressure. But with Pantomime just standing here, he is going to be able to soak up a lot of this sort of early aggression. Even the damage from that Aether Shock just gets walked off by the heal, so...
It's so incredibly efficient.
He's got the heart, too. Okay, this lane's going to get very annoying for that Rune Eater's side, but... Cloud Taking a little bit of damage. They're going to hit him up with a dagger here. Not really going to be able to do anything more than that. But look at Pantomime. With that Harpy, he just keeps on throwing out that lightning. Little bit of damage bit by bit. And again, it doesn't matter. If you kill Pantomime, if you kill his creep, that's all really inconsequential compared to the farm that the Spectre could potentially pick up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is really no winning against Ench. It's just surviving.
Time. Swinging things over to the bottom lane. Oh. Waiting for this duo to connect on a play, right? The Mars Mirana sort of tried and true, but I feel like they kind of have to go for Kaori. TA2000 is just too tanky. He came to lane with 3 gauntlets, so I don't know if they have the damage to break through him, but if the Ancient Apparition steps a little bit too far forward, that's a much easier kill. However, Soyu is rotating towards the middle lane. Don't know if he's going to find an opening. Don't know if they really have damage to find the kill afterwards, because Melojewel hasn't really bothered with any points on the Flame Guard right now.
Yeah, and Sayo just thinks better of it. It's like, never mind.
Come over, you stand there, you ask your mid laners, like, hey, can we do this? And no, not really. Go somewhere else. So, I mean, the good news is this is a Mirana, so you pretty much have the sort of best position for hero in terms of going and doing something else. So he can stack, he can get some farm with the arrow, he can come back to bot if they really feel like Afterlife's in trouble, but at a certain point, this is a Mars with 2 early bracers. He's going to hit that sort of equilibrium where maybe he can't find any kills, but this opposing duo can't force him out of lane, and the Mirana has more room to potentially rotate.
Ooh,
Is he going for it?
4 stacks. Melo just TPs to the tier 2. Nice presence of mind.
Self out. Haze doesn't quite have that lasso yet, so able to really commit all the way for it, but it's TP burned, I suppose. That might count for something later on down the line, but for now, not a whole lot going here. But if you're Haze, you're still farming pretty damn well here. 28 and 2, pretty much on par with the Embers farm on the other side, so not too much lost with that play not connected.
Yeah, both mids are actually having a lot of fun here. Just hitting creeps.
Top lane, Cloud might have gotten himself into a little bit of a bad way here. The sentry's down, so the Sandstorm is not providing him as much protection. He's now rooted by the Dark Troll Summoner. Somebody's got to hit him. There we go. Phantom M comes in there to finish the job. Arrow is here, but kind of too late. Meanwhile, mid, Haze is actually going to make the move. He goes in with the lasso. Melojewel is not dead yet, but Haze turns around for the last hit, and Phantom M is just going to die as well. That is an unfortunate TP. Soyu trying to clean up. Arrow will fly, not going to connect. And, well, Haze... I mean, the first kill is going to happen once you get the lasso, but Phantom M just kind of offering himself up as a second one is a bit more unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what he was trying to do there with the TP. Like, I don't think level 1 HS attendance is gonna save an Ember from dying once he has a lot of stacks.
Well, I don't know. The Enchantress goes
mid
down.
lane was... Yeah. Poor Ench. It was even, now it's no longer even, with Haze being a full level up.
Yeah, I was just sort of thinking losing the Enchantress in the long run is not that big of a deal. It's just that's a death that didn't really accomplish much either. So,
Phantom Man is gonna be in trouble now.
Okay. I just said your first death wasn't that big of a deal, man, but you die again. That's a little more problematic. So, Leader's able to find one, and now they're looking at the bottom lane to get the Cold Feet proc onto Afterlife, who now doesn't have his support as Sayu rotated away, but unfortunately, TA2K and Kaori don't quite have the damage to make that happen either. Your Kunkka wasn't finished with the armlet just yet, but they are trying to sort of take advantage of these opportunities. With heroes on the opposing side starting to rotate, some of those lanes get a little bit weaker, and Afterlife is at least sort of pushed back, and even if you don't find the kill, Kunkka's farming pretty well. Second in terms of net worth, and not a lot of pressure being applied to him at all.
And again, we did see a similar start last game. It's always gonna be scary against the Spectre.
A little trouble. He's going to go for the lasso, though. There's going to be Smiling Knight coming into the fight. However, his presence will sort of break this up. But Hayes actually wasn't taken down. He is... Well, I don't know if he's okay, but he's still alive, that's for sure. And I don't really know what comes of this. Arrow is going to get slowed up a little bit, but he's able to back away. And Wingblade, nobody dies, but that's Haunt put on cooldown for quite a while.
Mm-hmm. Of course, Haunt in the early game isn't super important yet. It would have been a nice opportunity for the Spectre to get some kills.
Searing Chains into Arrow gets them a kill onto the Shadow Shaman, and now Hayes is... I mean, he's committed. He's just got to go for the kill, but he has no TP, so he is going to get traded out, and... Well, maybe he's not. Here comes Kaori trying to help out. They're going to pop that Firefly. The arrow is off from Soyu, and... That is twice now. Hayes has been dangerously close to death and been able to walk away. This time, I'm pretty sure it's going to cost him the life of his teammate there as Kaori gets picked off, but... You get the Batrider out of there safely, and they still found enough kills where it's still evened up at 4 at the end of it. So Hayes is trying to make some plays here. 3-0 start is pretty damn good for your Bat.
Mm-hmm. Almost has BOTs now as well, which is gonna be huge. Because generally Spectre wants to sit next to a tower and just free farm. That is so much scarier if the enemy Bat can just fortify the creeps and just TP on them.
Mem is playing up in between the lanes right now. Got himself... Actually didn't take the Summoner. Took the Hill Troll instead. Okay. So, well, he's got his creep. Let's see if they can do anything with it, because both of the supports are kind of hanging out here at that middle lane. Of course, if Soyu's out of lane, it means Afterlife's alone, and they're going to give it another go. Last time they couldn't find this kill, but this time they do get the Ghost Ship down. Is that going to be enough? There's no level 6 on your Ancient Apparition, though. Boy, if they have Ice Blast, that's a pretty straightforward kill. Instead, Afterlife got away, but Tidebringer Cleave is a little bit too tough for him.
And I really love that voice line that Tier 2K uses after every single kill.
Got the Cut Supporter pack. It is a good one, honestly. But that is a solid kill, and Kunkka... I think the most interesting part about that, he knew basically exactly where the Mars was, but if you push into the trees to try and physically finish him off yourself, then you put yourself in range of some sort of spear stun play. Instead, he just gets the Tidebringer to do the job for him as Kaori picked off there near the middle lane. He's going to be taken down, but up in the top lane, that is a far more valuable trade-off. Hayes and Cloud push in. Both have to commit the ults, but they take down Smiling Knight. That Spectre is going to get set back a little bit. Cloud, you would love to get more damage onto this tower, and the Siege Wave is coming, so... Oh. He keeps up this push, they might just be able to do this, but Pantomim's coming in to try and defend this. He's losing his creep, though, but he's pulled the aggro sufficiently enough where I think this is still going to work out, or maybe not, because Cloud's got backup coming. And Pantomim is just going to get picked off. There's a TP coming in from Smiling Knight, though, and his teammates are coming up from behind. Can they actually do this? Kaori is going to get rooted up. Just go for the Ice Blast at point blank. Nope. Delays a little bit too long because of that stun. The Ice Blast doesn't actually get the connection. Now they're going to just jump straight in onto Cloud. Burrow Strike will actually buy him some time, and Hayes, he is turning this. Smiling Knight's just going to get burned through. He's dead. And over in the middle lane, they made another play. TA2000 and Arrow were able to jump in onto Afterlife, who was just trying to take over the middle lane, so the trade will work in Rune Eater's favor, although as I say that, Hayes needs to make sure he actually gets out.
Not quite in range. So close.
It's what? It's a maxed out slight, so if he could have gotten it, would have been enough damage, but it is very... Oh, okay.
Ooh,
nice. Back in, looking for the kill. Hayes gets taken down, and... Okay, Smiling Knight jumps away. Arrow can't catch up to him, so... They do find the kill eventually. Cost them a few kills on their own side, but they really did need to finish off Hayes there. Couldn't really let him get away as Cloud tried to jump in onto Melodrule. He does connect initially, but... Yeah, that's 0 for 2 now on the Ancient Apparition in terms of connecting with those Ice Blasts, and Cloud is trapped for a few seconds. Needs his Blink Dagger to come back up. he thought about it. Definitely thought about it for a second with that epicenter, but not going to take the chance. I think they just smoked on a ward, though, so this is not going to be as sneaky as they think it is, but they've got the blink on the Sand King, so it may not matter. They just need to get close enough to get Cloud into the middle of the fight. It shall. Let's see. They're wrapping around here. They're going to spot out these stacked camps, so honestly, taking those stacks might be worth more than trying to pursue a kill onto Afterlife here, and yeah, they're just going to take it.
Oh, this is so huge.
Uh-oh. Move, they don't want to let it go.
Still alive, though.
Jump in, Searing Chains. Arrow is actually going to be eaten by Arrow, but Cloud may still be dead here. He is trying to get himself away. He is going to make it out for now. Still trying to chase after him. They were able to clean up Arrow pretty easily, but Cloud's looking for the TP. Spears up. Not in time, though.
Very nicely done there. They know that the stacks are there now, and it's definitely gonna be on their mind. Because that is one of the reasons why Spectre had such a nice start. You don't usually think of Spectre as a hero good at taking stacks, but with a Blade Mail and the fact that he always finds a chipped vest, plus Dispersion, he can actually take them relatively efficiently. Like, you don't cleave them down, but like in 2 to 3 Blade Mail usages, you should be able to take any amount of creeps.
While Arrow looking for the play into the Roche.
Roche.
Okay.
I like this idea.
Oh boy, Kaori yeah, taking a little bit of extra damage there from Roche, but he'll back out. Should be able to take this. I don't even know if one move suspect that it's happening. This is a very sort of early play considering their lineup, but they are going to be able to get it. Looks like Hayes will be the one to take it because the Kunk is not even on the same side of the map, so okay. Aegis up on your Bat Rider. Going to give him maybe a little bit more confidence to push in for a fight before that BKB's finished and see what they can find. On the other side, though, that is a blink finished off on Afterlife. So your Mars is now kind of ready to go between himself, the Ember's mobility, and Smiling Knight on the Spectre. They can really bring all of their cores to any fight. Here's pushing forward. Handsomem's not really the kill that they want there, but might just be the only hero that they have an opportunity to go after, unless they can maybe get onto Smiling Knight, but it's a little bit too far of a distance for them to cross at the moment.
Haven't really achieved too much with this Aegis just yet. But I guess one move just really doesn't want to fight an Aegis Bat Rider before the heroes are online in any way.
And yeah, I mean... Oh, hold on. They're going to make the jump. Arrow quickly taken down. Cloud is kind of by himself up here against Melojewel as well. They're going to throw the arrow after the Searing Chains. They'll lock him down, and back in the bottom lane, they were able to take out Kaori as well, so they get 3 quick kills. Afterlife will pay with his life, but you take the 3 for 1. Pretty nice play there from one move, and kind of surprising. Rune Eaters are the ones with the Aegis, but they're just sort of not taking the initiative, giving their opponents opportunities.
Mm-hmm. And I love how Spectre initially used his Haunt for the bottom lane kill, but then noticed that Ancient Apparition was alone as well, and just killed him too. Like, oh, that's a nice bonus.
Fortunately, Rune Eaters, that's going to be a problem the whole way through. Just like it was last time, you've got some very squishy supports against a Spectre, so we'll see what they look for. Kaori, he's queued up that Shadow Amulet again. That honestly worked pretty well for him last game on the Bane. He was able to avoid 3 to 4 jump-ins. The problem is, when he popped that Shadow Amulet, that just meant Smiling Knight went straight onto his teammate, and Arrow was the one who got bullied instead, so it solves a problem for one of your supports, but it puts all that pressure onto the other, as gotta be a little bit careful there, but Melojewel's not going to jump him. Now, how much time do we have in this Aegis? 2 minutes left. I mean, if you're Rune Eaters, Is this a point right now, Wingblade, where you feel like you need to make a play with this Aegis, or could they just be okay with sort of using it to just farm and push?
If they get this tier 2, that definitely is something to me. It's gonna allow them to take the outpost, which is a huge deal, because it basically eliminates any Roche control for one move.
It's kind of slow going on this tier 2 tower, but they are getting through it slowly but surely, and no one on one move is coming to defend it as the Kunkka quick TP back with the X play, heals up, returns, and but when I said that it was slow going, I meant it. They will finally get that tower, but it took them quite a while. But nobody came to stop him, so you have the objective. You have BKB now, very importantly, on Hayes, so we're starting to build some momentum, and you still got a minute on that Aegis timer, so Hayes could go looking, see if anyone's just sort of hanging out by themselves. The problem is Rune Eater spent so much time in that sort of north side setting up vision that they don't see anything down to the south here, which is really where most of one move are hanging out. Smoke, though. Check for Smiling Knight, farming up those sort of stacked camps, but Spectre's already moved away, but at this point, Rune Eater's really kind of have to know exactly where he is. He wasn't north, he's not east, so he's got to be south, and well, Arrow, okay, Arrow got the Hex into the Shackles. Look at those TPs coming through. They're going all in onto that Spectre. They should be able to find the kill. Cloud very nearly dies to the Blade Mail Dispersion combo, but they're able to find it. And Arrow, very nice reaction times there. He knows the Spectre, if she's trying to get away, can really only jump onto you, and fast fingers with the Hex Shackle combo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're fast enough on a Shadow Shaman, you just constantly use like quick cast Hex behind you. You can actually just kill the illusion before Spectre can get on top of you every single time.
This is a little awkward. Yeah, Kunkka trying to find that kill onto Pantomime. They did hit him with the Ice Blast, so not healing up immediately in the fountain, but yeah, they won't get the kill. But if they can get Afterlife, that is going to be far more valuable. Hayes is coming in with the burn, and well, cool. Pantomime gets away, but no offense to Pantomime, but who cares if you can get a kill onto the Mars instead? So we will take it. They do lose Arrow. They're on the back line, so it is a bit of a trade-off, but still a valuable one for them. As Cloud, oh god, he found it. They're in onto Melodril. Do they have the lasso? Yes, they do. The Epicenter's going to come out as well, and oh, there's the voice line once again. That is a big play to shut down the Ember.
Yep. Because Ember is gonna be the hero making space for the Spectre in the mid game. So it's nice that Spectre is having a good time, but you need this Ember. Ooh, and
that's just cruel.
Rip.
Flame Break pushes him onto the cliff. That's as free a kill as you're going to get for Hayes, and he is not really having an off game here. Despite the fact that they lost game 2, his stat line was still amazing. He's 8-1 so far, and now over in the jungle.
Naive messes up the X-Torrent combo.
Man, he had teammates close enough. If he connected, that could have been a pretty straightforward kill. Is now, well, Afterlife's going to try and make a move. They're going to jump onto Cloud. They do find that first kill. Ice Blast connected this time, though, so got to be a little bit careful, but Melodril has the BKB. He'll pop it, keep on going onto Kaori, finds a second kill, looking for the third, but Hayes, he is a very fast boy on that Bad Rider, and he had his BKB at the ready, so Melodril, not the time to get greedy. He found 2, and he'll back off.
And it all started because TA2K actually TP'd top.
Okay. They take down Soyu here. They're going to try, and I think they've got the damage for it, but now they got to deal with Smiling Knight joining the fight. Hayes is in trouble. He pops the BKB to get out of the Searing Chains. He will TP away. The Kunkka is able to walk away, saves his BKB for the time being. Or maybe not. They're going to keep on chasing. Yep, he's going to have to pop it now. He'll TP home. So he was just sort of waiting to see how far they would chase, and once they commit, he's out.
Actually has an SNY in his quick buy. That's unusual.
Oh. Yeah, that's... First of all, that's not something we normally see too often on the Kunkka, but when he does get it, at this point in his item build, it's a little A little unusual as well as Arrow blinks forward. Going to be able to get down the Hex, into the Shackles, into the Wards, into an Ice Blast. They just throw everything they've got at Afterlife, and they are able to find the kill. Cloud is actually stuck in his teammates' wards here, unless... There we go. Waits for the blink dagger and gets out, but that's a little bit awkward. But if you're Arrow, this is a little bit of what we were talking about, right? Playing the 4 instead of the 5 on the Shadow Shaman, that blink sort of comes up a little bit earlier, and you now have a lot more to work with in terms of your ability to get aggressive. And speaking of aggression, Melojewel, okay. Just gonna let the burn finish off Kaori. Over on the other side of the fight, though, Pantomime is gonna get traded out, but if you're Rune Eaters, you need much more than that. They are trying to keep heroes here in the sort of river area, but Cloud, he's just taking too much damage. He's got to try to back off, but Melojewel comes back in. There's the Sleight of Fist. They do get the X onto Knight, though. They'll pull him back into the Torrent, into the Ghost Ship. They get the Lasso down as well. Can one move actually get in here to defend this? I do not think so. Smiling Knight will go down. Melojewel, though, keeping the fight going. Still has a lot of damage to work with, and Afterlife jumps in with the Arena into the Spear to finish it off. Melojewel grabs the triple. And Afterlife just slams the door in the faces of Rune Eaters. Thought for maybe a moment they could hold, but with the Mars getting involved, not the case.
You know, I like to make fun of my supports, but this game and the previous game are kind of showing how important it is to actually have supports that are alive in fights. Because every single fight where Rune Eaters lose their supports at the start of the fight to an Ember with BKB or a Spectre with Haunt, they just get absolutely demolished.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Shadow Shaman has been initiating for them pretty frequently, and the Ancient Apparition is still a big sort of factor in your team fight play with the Ice Blast, so they need to keep those two alive, but it's much easier said than done. Kaori is coming close to that amulet, so like I said before, that will maybe help his durability a little bit, and Shadow Shaman's side, this is not a bad item pickup with the Aether Lens. The problem is you're going against a Spectre, so having extra cast range doesn't really keep you all that separated from the opposing team. You can just sort of haunt onto him no matter what. Okay, Arrow, this is kind of that exact problem. He does get taken down. They're going to try to go onto Afterlife anyway. They've hit him up with the X, pulling him back into that boat combo. Hayes doesn't want to use the lasso that he actually didn't even have anyway. It was still 15 seconds out, so they are able to find that kill. Meanwhile, middle lane, Cloud jumps onto Pantomime. Ice Blast comes through, makes the connection, and is going to be a dead Enchantress. So Rune Eater is able to make a couple of plays across the map, and as you just sort of alluded to, Wingblade, you have to have your supports up to make those plays. Kaori is unfortunately gonna get himself picked off, but got the cold feet down onto Melojewel before he died. The problem is BKB comes in. Melojewel's gonna be just fine. Cloud's gonna look for the TP home.
Ooh,
Does
Sentry
manage to
just
make it
out of
away.
range.
Now they turn their attention onto Soyu. They'll hit him up with the X into the Torrent. Firefly coming through. Arrow blinks in for the Hex and the damage, and okay. They will find that kill. Kaori, meanwhile, bought back, because at this point, Rune Eaters are kind of eyeing up the Roche Pit. Get all hands on deck for that, but that also means Kaori, with the buyback, is now really setting back his own economy. He cannot really afford to get picked off easily again, but again, there's a Spectre on the other side, so can he really even survive, or is he going to get picked off? It's actually going to be Arrow who's under fire here. He did get off a Hex before. The Shackle comes through. That buys time for the Ice Blast. Into the Torrent, into the Ghost Ship. Afterlife will be taken down, and, well, you're okay with that trade-off, and now they might get some more. Pantomime just sort of wanders into this fight. He is going to get cleaned up pretty quickly here. The Lotus, it's neat, but it's not actually all that helpful. TA2000 gets the kill, and at this point, if you're one move, this feels a little bit strange. They keep just sort of wandering heroes in. I think they're just trying to delay Roche as much as possible, but if you lose heroes one at a time like this, then you're not really going to be able to contest Roche when Rune Eaters go for it anyway.
Spectre is closing in to the Aghanim Scepter, though. Rip Kaori.
Well, he's gonna have to take a seat for a bit. Minute on the sideline there as Melojewel gets the kill. Hayes, though, has an Octarine core. Okay. This is a very farmed Bad Rider. He's got the Blink Dagger queued up now for him as well, but as you said, Smiling Knight Only about 1,000 gold away from that Aghanim Scepter, and all of a sudden a lot more potential plays open up for one move, so Rune's got to be careful. Might want to try and do what they're doing right now, kind of strike before that Aghanim Scepter gets completed, but with everyone still sort of tiptoeing around the Roche Pit, there's no immediate opportunity to just jump in for the fight.
Roche actually falls quite fast. Spectre is a really good Roche killer. Of course, Roche doesn't have any friends, so takes full damage from all of the Desolates.
Meters, I don't think they realized that this was going down so quickly. They are going to try and push in now, but by this point, it might be a little bit too late. Roshan is still falling, but, well, one mover taking a lot of damage at this point, but no one's actually been finished off. In fact, it's Arrow who dies first. They were so busy trying to deal with Pantomime up top, they will get that kill, but it took too much time, way too much time, and now they just have to back away. TA2000 is going to pop the BKB and look to TP out. Hayes will now do the same. Everyone will make it home, but man, Pantomime, for someone who had just been getting blown up repeatedly in some of those fights, he was able to buy in a just insane amount of time for his squad in that fight.
Yeah, level 2 untouchable, level 4 attendance, Lotus Orb. Ench isn't like a quick and easy kill anymore unless you get like Ice Blast into chain stun.
Now,
But this is starting to feel scary for Runidos. Once again, there is a Spectre in the enemy team and they haven't been able to shut it down. Okay, Ori. No, run.
will get taken down. They got the lasso onto Mellow though, so they'll take that trade-off now. They're going to turn their attention onto Afterlife. They pull him back in with the X. Flame Break's going to knock him back further, and they do find the kill, but now Arrow, well, he was left to sort of be the distraction, and unfortunately in this case, distraction means sacrifice, but 2 cores. They found some nice kills. They caught Smiling Knight in really a perfect timing where he had to wait a little bit longer to actually get that jump back in, but you don't really have the opportunity to go any further forward. Spectre's got 2 lives, so I don't think you want to chase after that. So they'll reset for the time being, but like I said, it just feels kind of rough for Rune Eaters. It feels like they're falling into that same sort of rhythm in the last game that ended up turning against them.
Yeah, they need to somehow disrupt the rhythm of the game. It feels very methodical right now, and it isn't favoring them. They're getting kills on the mice very often. They're getting kills on Ember every once in a while, but these heroes are only secondary. You need to deal with the Spectre.
Do have Kunkka working his way towards the Silver Edge for himself, so oh, that could be the play, but he's actually going to get jumped in on here first. Their timing's a little bit off, though. There's that SNY actually kind of coming into play with the status resistance. They weren't able to get the arrow off in time, but now the fight is breaking out. They're going to jump forward. Melodrol with a quick kill onto Kaori. He was able to get an Ice Blast off, but it's not really going to be enough. Arrow gets picked as well, and these supports just continue to be easy kills for one move. Oh, Cloud got clipped by the arrow.
Nice blind arrow.
They're right in onto him. Soyu cuts through the trees with the Force Staff. Spear flies through, and we're able to find that 3rd kill. So it's not just the supports getting taken down. And, well, now, at this point, Wingblade, what is your play if you're Rune Eaters? First of all, I mean, you gotta wait for your heroes to respawn. But once they do, really, Haze goes in and you look for just a lasso onto the Spectre? Is that really kind of the option for them?
That would be ideal, yeah, but it's so difficult. Because Knight knows that he's probably gonna be the juiciest target. So he's just gonna sit back every single time, and this is what Aghanims does for Spectre. You're no longer dependent on your Hound for global presence. You can just do whatever you want.
It feels like Rune Eaters want to try and get on the offensive again, but there's only really 2 heroes they can afford to jump in on. Look at the Spectre, or I guess Mellow as well, then you're just in a...
Dead again? Or is he? No? They don't want to commit? No vision. Very scary.
That is not a great indicator of where Rune Eaters are in the game, though, when you're showing respect to the position 5 Enchantress because you're not sure of how much backup she has. Oh boy. That would be a bigger kill if they could find Knight, but... Okay.
Still has Aegis.
Yeah. Timing's gonna be a little off for them. The problem is they just revealed themselves, so one move coming over, and I don't think you want this fight under a tier 2 tower, especially with the Aegis timing out in 10 seconds, so gonna take any chances. In the meantime, though, the Spectre gonna run out of time on that Aegis, but the Moonshard's just about done. You just picked up an Ags on Mellow Jewel as well, so he's gonna be in a much nicer position as Pantomime. This time, yeah, not gonna be able to sort of get himself out of there. His Afterlife actually kind of missing. They're gonna try and make a jump, and on the back line, there's gonna be that initiation from the Spectre. He didn't actually jump all the way forward, though, so Yori actually kind of just ends up dying to the illusions, which means his Ice Blast connects, but not onto a real hero, and yeah, that's an even worse position to be in. Now, Spectre doesn't even necessarily have to physically be there to kill you. Not a fun time, and said win or lose, Kiori was going to be pushing double-digit deaths. He's up to 12 right now, but there's no way to really fix this.
Yeah. Let's see what they can do. It's so hard because of the Moonlight Shadow as well. Rune Eaters really needs a gem, but they're dying too much to hold on to it.
Dangerously close to their enemies there, just never really knew it, but... what is this? They got a smoke play now from Kaori, so... give it a go. Smoke up. Spectre doesn't have 2 lives to work with anymore, so... maybe you can make something happen, but as I said, they need the perfect initiation, and right now they're the ones getting jumped in on. Hayes dropped low. His BKB is going to get active, so he's not dead just yet. Kiori, though, is. He's going to buy back almost immediately, but Arrow is going to get picked off as well. Hayes still has to retreat because he's low on HP, but look at Mellow Jewel go. Doesn't want to let him make the retreat, but the lasso's there, but it's actually going to get reflected by the Lotus, so Hayes just stuns himself. He will fall. This fight is turning into a disaster. Cloud missing with the Burrow Strike. Arena thrown down. Spear Stun's going to be there. One move regrouping and pushing back in as Hayes will fall. Doesn't have a buyback available. Arrow dead now as well. TA2000 is going to get picked off, and one sort of overextension into another for Rune Eaters there. They just can't really find anything, and everybody's tipping Cloud at the end. Oh boy. That's a little bit rude, but a one mover feeling confident at this point in time. They really should feel like they have the game kind of well in hand. It feels like this is now their game to lose.
Poor Kaori.
Just hide.
Needs to Shadow Amulet himself in his own base to make sure he doesn't die.
One move will finish off the middle lane of Rax, and yeah, I don't know. Wingblade, it just feels like Rune Eater's sense of agency is gone. It's going to be less them potentially finding a way to win and more having to rely on one move making a big enough mistake for them to mount a comeback.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gonna hit, but if you're one move, you don't care. They just keep on pushing forward, and this is another thing to sort of take into consideration. This is the second... hold on. Cloud, okay. Makes the jump in. Where's the follow-up? TPs are coming in. They're going to look to force this as they do get Smiling Knight. They pull him back in. They get the X, they get the Torrent, they get the Ghost Ship, they get the Ice Blast. Smiling Knight is going to get taken down, but Mellow Jewel wreaking havoc on the backline. Able to take down the 2 supports. They are going to be able to stun him up momentarily, but they just don't have enough. Hayes caught in the arena. Spirit Stun locks him down. Triple kill from Mellow Jewel. And now they're going to turn their attention onto the Kunkka. Cloud cannot afford to go back in. Doesn't have the health for it, so they just have to retreat to the fountain. But while they do so, bottom lane of Rax taken in its entirety.
Yeah.
They don't.
It's rough. Last game was the night show. Looks to be the Mellow Jewel show now.
That is unfortunate. They had a sentry down, so they saw the Mars just TPing away, but Kunkka is not strong enough to do anything, even if he does get the X to cancel that TP, so it's kind of an indicator of where we are in the game right now, where you just watch a hero TP in front of you who you could have stopped, but it's in your best interest not to.
Feels bad, man.
At this point, I don't know. Wingblade, what can
What
you
do they
do?
do?
Right? Yeah, like
Yeah.
what item, what play can they make? There's nothing they can do that's not massively risky just like this as they push their way forward. And Arrow, he is blown up immediately, and
Ooh,
TA2000, he has
still
no
on cooldown.
he doesn't have it. He's gotta wait. Cloud comes in. Nice burrow strike to buy some time. BKB activated. He's gonna try to get away. They shouldn't be able to kill him in time. But all of that to just get the Kunkka out of a sticky situation. So now their BKBs are on cooldown. Now they're forced back to their base, having used the TPs. So one move just goes straight to the pit.
Yep.
This blast is gonna
be a
hit.
refresher as well.
Yeah, just such a fast sort of Roche play with that Spectre, and
Looks so nice too. My eyes are getting massaged.
it is always something nice to see. That Spectre, the Arcana is pretty damn cool. It's just Spectre very rarely gets picked, so we didn't really get to see it, but Smiling Knight helping us out. He's got the Aegis. They just passed off the shard actually to the Ember Spirit, so I don't know. Meladril's got the upgraded remnants, so maybe just giving him the ability to throw all of them out there is going to allow him to just push in, and if they can pick up the supports again, that's basically a one fight, just every single time. Rune Eaters are getting sort of cut off with half their lineup dead, but now they really want to try this. Cloud is thinking about it. Their smoke does pop. And now here comes Meladril pushing onto the high ground. Kyori immediately dead. Arrow gone as well. And I don't know if they're going to be able to do this. TA2000 needs to pop his BKB, but he's just stun locked forever. He's not able to get it off. He will fall. No buyback available. And there's the GG. A one move needed one last fight to close the deal, and they get exactly the fight that they needed. Rune Eaters just forced into a desperation play like that, and when it doesn't work out, it's time to call it.
Yeah, they underestimated the Spectre once again. I feel like they thought they could just beat him in lane or something, but when you have an Ancient Apparition and a Shadow Shaman, you really cannot do anything to a Spectre once the game reaches like 20 minutes, because you're always going to be fighting 3v5, and you need to pick some spectacular matchups if you want to win that 3v5. I think it's quite unlikely.
Taking a look just at the graph at the end of that one, just a massive sort of decline in one move's favor, basically when the Spectre sort of hit that timing. So that's back-to-back games where Rune Eaters, as you said, just kind of underestimate what Smiling Knight was able to do. And once again, the support duo, this is just kind of gross. There's not a lot they could do about it, but that's 32 combined deaths for them. If you're just handing over free kills, there's no team fight.
Yep. I really love this Smiling Knight Spectre build as well. It's like, reminds me of the old Batman build. Not sure if you're familiar, but he's like, I believe he was a Russian player several years ago who started this style of Spectre and got to like position 1 on the leaderboards with it. Just buying the quick earn and killing people. It's nice to see for a change, because usually you either don't see Spectre at all or see him in the more traditional farming Radiance kind of style. So this is nice.
Yeah, maybe something that can help the Spectre pick up a little more popularity as well if it has a wider timing window to work with. But for one move, it works perfectly. Back-to-back wins for them between Smiling Knight and this time sort of Melojewel picking up the slack. 23-3 on that Ember Spirit. So they handle things pretty much perfectly. A lineup that was able to sidestep a lot of Rune Eater's theoretical lockdown, and they take the series. They're going to move on to the next round of the upper bracket. Yes, next round of the upper bracket. Sort of double checking that in case I misspoke, but they are going to move on here. Rune Eaters, of course, not eliminated. We're in the upper half, so they will simply drop down to the lower bracket, and they are going to have second chance. But for now, they are the losers of this series. So with that in mind, we are going to be moving things along. We got another series coming your way. It's going to be Team Empire versus No Sorry as our next matchup, and this opening series actually went a little over time, so those two squads are probably just sitting there ready to get themselves going. So because of that, we are going to be moving into that next series just as quickly as we can. So Blade and I will once again step away. When we return, it'll be the start of Game 1 between Empire and No Sorry. So stick around and back in just a little bit.